Fort Smith Radiation Oncology is the only locally owned and operated radiation cancer treatment facility in the River Valley. Here to give us some tips on what you can do to prevent cancer, Dr. Kris Gast joining us this morning. Thank you for being here. February, a very important month when we're talking about cancer. Tell us more about that.
Yes, February is actually Cancer Prevention Month, and I think we kind of forget about that. You know, remember October is Breast Cancer Month, but February is Cancer Prevention Month. So I thought that we could just wrap up the month by reviewing some of the different ways that your viewers can try and decrease the risk of getting cancer.
This is going to be a very important topic that we have the next few minutes to talk about. And first thing we wanted to touch on someone who has already survived cancer, what they can do with their treatments to prevent it from coming back.
Right. Well, basically those patients really can do the same things that you and I can do. They maintain a healthy weight, which basically means eating a healthy diet. Cancer-wise, not to get into too many specific details, but that basically means less fat and less calories.
Okay.
So dietary restrictions in that respect, and that's always very hard for everyone.
It certainly is, right? So hard.
Yes.
Okay, but that's a very
big
important
thing.
factor, very important.
The other thing that goes along with the dietary intake is the alcohol. You know, we do have some recommendations from the cardiac arena, if you will, that a small glass of, you know, dry red wine is extremely good for cardiac status, but we really have to limit the alcohol intake. Alcohol is a very potent toxin in terms of causing cancer. So that's kind of the three dietary things. Along with that, exercise. Exercise has been shown to, you know, decrease risk of a certain number of cancers: breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer. So that's also very important. While you're out exercising, we also want to be aware of the sun exposure. You know, a lot of my elderly patients already have skin cancer. Their exposure came at a time when we didn't know of the link between skin cancer and sun exposure. But it's basically you take care of your skin now that we know.
So all these tips are things that you can do. You can start doing right now, and it's not going to cost you any money. And of course, we can help prevent cancer in the long run.
And there's one thing you can do that will actually make you money or save money, and that's stop smoking or chewing tobacco. Which
leads us to the next thing we wanted to talk about, because we know that it really plays a role in cancers.
Yes. Smoking, tobacco, either chewing or smoking, are linked with so many cancers that there's just, if we could eliminate that from our lifestyle, I would be out of business and I would be so happy.
That would be a definite big cure, and something that you can prevent, like you said, save yourself some money as well. We've talked about how important it is to eat right, to get outside, to exercise, to wear your sunscreen while you're doing all of this. So how does healthy weight and staying active, in terms of numbers, lower a person's risk for cancer?
Well, if you think about the different cancers that are linked to those factors, I mean, you're talking about your very top, you know, cancers: breast cancer, prostate, colon. I mean, your top 3 or 4 cancers are linked with these behaviors. So, I mean, it's going to dramatically decrease. And of course, our lung cancer is so tied with smoking. The head and neck cancers, which are cancers of the oral cavity and the mouth and throat, extremely linked with chewing tobacco and smoking and alcohol. You know, all of those would just be dramatically reduced.
That would be so wonderful.
Yes.
You know, things you can do yourself. There was another topic we wanted to touch on, STDs, these infectious diseases, how they lead to cancer as well.
Right, and these are kind of newer things that I think that the public are just becoming more aware of. Hepatitis B is linked with liver cancer, and there is a vaccine for that now. And of course, HPV, which is the human papillomavirus, is now linked with several different types of HPV, are linked with cervical cancer, and there are vaccines for those. And those are all basically tied with having safe sex. And AIDS, of course, it has a link with safe sex, and AIDS patients are much more susceptible to different types of cancers.
It's a scary thing. We know early detection, so important. Just reiterate why early detection is so important.
Well, Just remember that early detection, you find it earlier, you have a much higher rate of cure. And I mean, that's the whole name of the game with cancer. So find it early, incorporate the early detection as part of your, prevention plan. Keep up with your mammograms, your PSA, colonoscopy, your skin checks, and you'll be on top of it.
Well, and at February being Prevention Awareness Month for Cancer, as Dr. Kris Gast is saying, eat right, exercise, do all those things, take care of yourself. And if you are in a position where you are dealing with this or your loved one, they are there to help you out. 8500 South 36th Terrace in Fort Smith is where you will find Dr. Gast and her team at Radiation Oncology. You can also give them a call. Their phone number is 648-1800 or log on to fsro.net, which stands for Fort Smith Radiation Oncology. Thank you for being here. We always are so informed, and of course right now we also wanted to put this information up where you can email as well. If you have any questions, Dr. Gast says, I'd be more than happy to help you. So there's the email address, and I'll give you a second if you've got a pen handy to write it down, or you can also write those questions in. It's a P.O. Box 5710 in Fort Smith. The zip code is 72913. Thanks for being here. Thanks for answering the questions, and we hope to see you very soon.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank
I'll see you next month.
You are Waking Up with 5 Sunday Morning. We'll take a break. We'll see you right after it.